Competition. It's inevitable. No matter what you sell or where you sell online, there will always be someone you have to compete against. Now, depending on the product that you sell and how much competition's out there, will determine how big of a mountain you have to climb in order to conquer them. So in this video, I'm going to teach you different strategies on how to beat your competition. The techniques that I go over in this video are going to solidify your status in that marketplace. We're first going to go through how to find out who your competition is. After that, we're going to talk about what your competition is doing in order to achieve that money. And then from there, I'm going to dive into what they're not doing right, because their weaknesses is where you move in. Finding the things that they're doing wrong is super important, because with that opens a door for you to completely take all of their market share. So if this is something that interests you, make sure you watch this video all the way through, because each time I show what the company's doing correctly, I'm also going to show you what they're not doing right. And like I just said, that's your way in. So make sure you pay attention, watch this whole video, and let's get into this. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to figure out who your competitors are. Now, as a new seller, you may believe, well, it's going to be the top selling person. And this is half right. It's not the entire picture. See, you need to also know what other companies are doing, especially the newer ones. See, if a newer company comes in and starts taking market share, you need to figure out what they're doing and what they're doing correctly in order to take a piece of that bigger company. So to figure this out, what we're going to do is use Everbee. Now, a lot of people say you don't need tools like this, which honestly, I find mind-blowing, because when you're starting out, you have no idea who your competitors are. And you also have no idea how much they're making, nor any insight as to their visibility, conversion rate, tags, etc. All the necessary details in order to determine what they're actually doing in order to make money. And if you watched my last video about ranking #1, you know that some of those listings on the front page aren't even selling in high volume yet. So you can't just base it solely off that top 8 listings. This isn't MySpace. They're not the favorite. By the way, that was a reference to the 2000s for us older people. Anyway, let's jump on Etsy so I can show you. I'm going to choose a random category, and let's go with candles. I don't know anything about candles, so this will be a great place to start. Now, since I don't know anything about them, this will help you see the process. No matter what category you may sell in, and even if you don't completely understand it, you will see the process in which you could take in order to figure everything out. So first, you want to see how many searches are happening each month. Now, when I search for candles, Everbee shows that there are 4,100 searches in the past 30 days. This is a great sign and shows that there's high volume of searches. Now, once that page loads, it can be extremely hard to determine what is actually selling just by scrolling through it. So on the left, what you want to do is select Product Analytics. This will load everything that's on that front page. Then click on Monthly Revenue, and the top selling products will appear at the top. Now this is where things get a little tricky. If you're just starting out, you may want to click on that top one only. And sure, it's the top seller, great option, but this will only help you so much. Remember, this item and this company are already established, so the chances of you beating them right off the bat are extremely slim. You have to first take baby steps and creep in on their market share. So how do you do this? You look for companies that are new or have just launched a candle. They have made their way to that front page. From there, we can compare what they are doing against that top seller. So with that said, there are 2 new sellers that stick out. Both of these companies just launched 4 months ago, with one candle only launching 1 month ago. And that company is already bringing in half the amount of the money as that larger company. Not only is the top company your largest competition, but also this company that just launched would be a huge competitor against you. So now we're going to analyze what that company is doing. Since they're taking so much market share so quickly, this is a great place to start. So first, we want to compare their sales. And based on Everbee, that top seller is selling about $1,700 per month. Now, this is spread over the course of 12 months, which is the age of that listing. The newer company has made 357 sales. Now remember, this is just in 1 month, which is impressive. And because they sold so much in such a short time frame, this is why they were instantly shot up to that front page. Again, I talk about this in my latest video on how to rank number 1. So if you're not sure the reason why they're on the first page so quickly, make sure you watch that video. I'll leave the link in the description below. Now that we determined how they got to that front page, we want to analyze and go deeper into how they're taking those market shares. So moving on, what you want to do is compare their tags. What is this new company doing that the old company may not be? And comparing these two, you notice the newer company is using more complex tags. This is giving them a huge advantage over the older company. This allows them to be seen in more searches. Now, for the fun part, what we're going to do is see what each one is lacking. And we're going to start with the older company. So when you're comparing the two, you could see what they are missing. Their tags are outdated. For example, they have the word Christmas still in their tag. They also have the word gift written 10 times. They don't need to have it 10 times. And even if it is a gift, they're missing the key people that you should be targeting, like a wife, husband, friend, sister, mom, grandma. Only half these tags are getting hits. You can even check this for yourself by typing in these keywords. They don't even appear in some of those searches. So now let's move on to that newer company. What are they missing? First, they're using the word candle way too much. They wrote it 13 times to be exact. It is not necessary to use this word in every tag. They are missing valuable opportunities to hit more people. The more keywords you can add to your tags as well as your title, the more visibility you will achieve based on those consumers' searches. You want to make sure you target everything that customer may be searching for that item. In addition, they are missing out on the things the first company's doing. That company was targeting gift givers. They don't have this listed anywhere as a gift, which is a huge missed opportunity. If they add the word gift even once, they would have 10 times the amount of hits. Now, before I move on from the tags, if you're curious on how to properly write keywords, I'll leave a link below for my SEO video that shows how to write keywords properly. This will explain exactly what you do in order to be searched and get more views. So let's move on and talk about their conversion rate. Obviously, the older company is killing it. That's because their keywords are targeting those gift givers, like I just said a few seconds ago. Most people that are coming to Etsy are usually searching for gifts, so they're getting hit perfectly with that tag. Whereas the newer company is coming up whenever somebody types in the word candle. This is why they have such a low conversion rate, and this will eventually hurt them. Etsy considers your conversion rate as well as the ratio of orders to your reviews very important. Now, talking about reviews, that first company averages about 15%. The newer company is only getting about 5.5%. Now, that may be because the item's newer and many of those customers just haven't received that item yet. But either way, this is something that is important and you need to always watch. See, Etsy wants to keep customers coming back. If you can get a higher review percentage than your competition, Etsy will push you above them. The main reason is because you're bringing those customers back to Etsy, and that's what they want. Of course, they want sales and they want money and they want it fast, but they also want people coming back to the platform. Now, they don't necessarily have to buy another item from you. They just need to come back and leave a review, and that will push you to the front of your competition. Now, with all that said, let's dive into the actual listings. So normally you'd want to start off with comparing the price points. This is to see if there's something you could do to compete price-wise. However, in this case, that bigger seller is using print on demand to fulfill their order. And that newer seller is actually hand making these items. You can tell this by their video, which, by the way, is a huge addition and probably swayed a few customers. I will talk about all that in a few minutes. Either way, let's just skip over the pricing for now and let's move on to shipping time. Etsy loves fast shippers. And who loves getting something even faster? Consumers. And as I scroll down, you can see that that older company gets their items to the consumer within 2 weeks. Now, that newer company says it could take up to a month. That is crazy. And this is where they are extremely lacking. See, if they can get that item to the consumer faster, they would blow up their listing even more. And this is a huge loss on their part. Now, because this is something that is actually handmade, it's easy to conquer. All they would have to do is pre-make a couple. And since that item would be pre-made, they can literally ship it same day if they wanted to. This means it could get to the customer within 3 to 4 days. And that's almost competing against Amazon timeframes. And Etsy loves that. Their system knows when that item is shipped and when that item is delivered. So the faster you can ship that item and the sooner it is delivered to a consumer, the harder they will push that listing. So this is clearly something that they are both falling short on. Now, that first company, the larger one, has no control over it due to it being a POD product. However, they could use the faster shipping service, or at least offer it. Right now, they're only using the economy shipping. So they're losing out on that one big time. If you go through all their reviews, the negative comments are all related to their shipping time frame. There are 84 pages, 336 in total, 1-star reviews. And if you count the 2 and 3 stars, you go into the thousands. 98% of the complaints are the shipping time. And no, I'm not joking. This is where you can literally take over that company. This is clearly a huge issue and something that they're missing. And if you could solve that, you would destroy them. Let's move on to the final thing, your pictures. I say this in every video. We shop with our eyes. And honestly, that large seller is slowly losing sales. Now, all these things could be due to the factors I talked about before, but their pictures definitely are an issue. The item comes off as basic and not unique. They are relying on their success per their review count, as well as their sales number and placement on that first page to push them through. But this will only help them so much. When you look at this compared to other listings, it looks old. A great example is that newer company. You could see the clear difference. It is like night and day, not just because it has a video, but the vibrance of the images, the different backgrounds and sceneries. Even them showing each one is unique and different. All this grabs the consumer's attention and brings them in. They went from wanting the item to needing it. And that's what you want. You want to evoke emotions with the images, and the customers want and need for that. You want them to feel the urgency to buy that item as soon as they see it. This is one of the key factors to your success on Etsy, or really in any business. Now, before I end this video, let's just really quick talk about pricing. It's not as important as many people think. Now, sure, consumers want to save money. That's obvious. But if your item is priced similar, it will still get sales. Now, I'm not saying, you have to have your item 2 times the cost. Then clearly they will move on. But if your item looks better in a side-by-side comparison and your shipping time is better, if your item is priced maybe $1 or $2 more, they won't hesitate at all to purchase it. I'm asked often if you should sell it at a lower cost. And this really is completely up to you. Just starting out, you want to make sure that you don't keep that low price forever. You only use that strategy to gain the momentum. This is not something that you want to do long term. This will not be sustainable. And you want to make sure that you continuously, grow your company and you make more. So margins are extremely important. And if you're always taking a cut, then you're never going to get anywhere. You're going to continuously chase money you're never going to have enough to put in your pocket. So if you do this, only do it for a short term. Do not do this long term. I hope that some of these tactics help you see things differently. And now you can go out there and crush your competition. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment below. You know I love to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.